She was really happy.
Fantastic. I'll do the triple thread right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
That takes a little pressure off of me of going back to Vegas for a day and a half and turning back and coming back.
We're getting right in. Play them through.
I could do that. Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, the Women's Broadcast TV Network, otherwise known as WomenOnTV.tv and iTube 247. And I'm so happy because these three women are together, and it's been a long time. It's been Coachella of 2018, if I remember correctly, that everybody was together. Yeah, it's been that while.
Well, yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
yeah.
right.
Talk to everybody. Talk to whoever everybody is. Starting here. Terry, who are you? What are you doing here?
Terri Marie.
She doesn't know.
I know who I am. A fitness personality, co-host with Brian.
And Sportamix.
And
an influencer now.
And just a fun person in general. And I'm so excited to be here because...
That's yet to be debated.
Oh, gosh, Brian, you know I'm fun. Anyway, I'm just excited because I remember the first show that I did with you. I did it with Jennifer. My very first show. I don't know if Jennifer remembers that.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. So this is it's
It wasn't that long ago, but it was a while ago.
It was a while.
3 years ago.
It doesn't seem like
That's it? 3 years?
2017.
That's it?
Yep.
Wow, we've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Time, it a lot has happened in a small amount of time.
Exactly.
I was gonna say time flies, but a lot has happened. You know?
Okay, so Jennifer, introduce yourself, and what are you doing now?
Jen Henry, life coach, owner and founder of Core Resolution Systems.
That has come a long way.
Lifestyle transformation, yeah, absolutely.
And in the world of fitness.
And in the world of fitness, I'm helping to produce, actually this year we'll be producing the OG Pole Fitness Classic for the 2020 Joe Weider's Olympia. Super excited about that.
Yep.
So excited about that.
And Flora, all the way from San Diego.
Hi, I'm Flora Sofia, model and actor, imported from Brazil.
Of course you are.
Of course I am. What can I say? Showcasing another fashion from Minas Gerais. This was a Christmas gift this Christmas from my mom, of course. She takes such good care of me, you guys. What I've been doing, gosh, I'm writing my first short script, and it's been a very interesting experience. I'm elated. It's all kinds of challenge, but give me a challenge and I'll do the best I can to overcome it. And I've got very good coaching. I'm super excited. I just got fresh coaching on my script this past Saturday, so it's coming along nicely. In under a year, I might have a movie to show.
And we were talking about the challenges because nothing that's come to any of us has not come without a lot of challenges, right?
Absolutely. They can be terrifying at times, and it might take a while to get back, in good shape, to top shape from them, but it's like the thing that we need to realize in life is that we're never alone. We always have good people around us, and it's a matter of realizing who you're going to keep in the bus, who you're going to get off the bus. It takes time to get to that too, but those who are good for you, they are consistently good for you, so rely on them, folks.
Yeah, and you need to learn how to get rid of the noise and the people that don't help you out. I mean, because there's a lot of chatter, you know what I mean? But I've learned to put the noise away and just focus on the things that I need to do.
But it's not easy, though.
No, it's not. It's not.
Jennifer, talk about how you started and where you came from and where you are right now for the audience that didn't see our last show, because you've come a long way. I'm still thinking about it's only 2017. It seems longer than that.
Yeah, it's a lot. So because of the fact that I have such a colorful past, right, and because I've come from like the place of drug addiction and homelessness and IV drug use and prison and rehabilitation, and I loved the last show if you want to refer back to that, but redemption, right? Like actually like redeeming yourself from the very pits of hell to now like giving life to others. And you asked last show what movie, right? You always, every show, what movie? And every single time I always want to say The Matrix, and I don't, and I think it's because I don't want to explain why, and it feels silly explaining why, but I feel like that's what it is. I was in hell, and I was killing myself, literally and metaphorically, and I was in this place of complete disconnection. And so I was given a second chance, and I was given a chance to come back and help redeem others and save others from the type of life that I was living myself. And so being able to now be in a place where I've come from that to a place where I get the opportunity to coach others and help them bring out that very best version of themselves so that they can turn around and serve others better. I don't care if you're a mom and it has to do with you being a better mom to your kids. You know, if it has to do with you being a better husband or a wife or a better mother or a better sister or a better friend or a better employee or a better self, whatever it is, like being able to like take care of self first. Put, like you guys were just saying, like being able to like eliminate the noise, eliminate the static, eliminate the you should and you shouldn't and this and that, and it should look like this or it should be like that, and being able to help people find what is true for them.
You know what, you said something that really stuck with me, because this is something, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but like you've inspired me to open up about my shit, right? So I mean, I was a victim of domestic violence. My husband threw me across the room, kicked me in the rib cage, broke 4 ribs, collapsed my lung. Then I got MRSA staph in my pleural cavity. I was in the hospital for 3 months. I'm not supposed to be alive. And then after that, I got in a car accident, and like, yeah, it just, there was 2 big things that in that same year that could have killed me, you know what I mean? But I woke up and realized, you know, how instead of being in the victim state, I realized how precious life was, and to pick my ass up and to move forward and to learn to love myself. Because
what do you think was the trigger for that? Like, what do you think, looking back now, what do you think was the catalyst for you deciding that you were worth it, that you were worth the effort?
Well, I mean, it just, when you don't, sometimes women don't realize that they're in an abusive relationship. Like my ex-husband was very controlling. Like he didn't want me to do certain things where they're kind of red flags to me, because a lot of times when people are accusing you of doing certain things, they're the ones that are actually doing it. Like he would accuse me of cheating all the time and accuse me of going on business trips, and you know, I was hooking up with people, which wasn't true, but in the reality, he was doing it. So it's kind of
also a mirror reflection.
Yeah, it's a mirror reflection. Yeah, and it's basically, a lot of narcissists will do that because they'll put the blame. They don't want to see themselves, so they put that blame on other people. But back to, I guess, where I'm going with this is that I lost my job, I lost my house. I ended up having to move in with my mother. Thank God my mother was there, but my dad had just passed away a year ago, so it was a really hard time for my whole family. But I learned in that period of time not to give a shit about what other people thought about me, because he was running around like telling people that, oh, you know, I tried to kill him. Like, you just make all this crazy stuff because he didn't want to take responsibility for it. And then you start to believe it yourself. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, am I a bad person? Like, why did this happen? So I just learned to love myself, because if I can't love myself, I can't love other people, and I can't be productive. You have to have self-love before you can do anything in this life. And that's,
but you have to be able to know what it is that makes you feel loved, so that you can show that and be an example of that, right? Like, if you don't know what you need to feel loved, you don't know how to look for it from someone else, right? Like, you don't recognize, well, is that me getting loved, or is that me getting what I can get?
Yeah.
Right? And so when you learn to love yourself first, when you learn what it is that you need in your life, from yourself and from others, then you're able to set that boundary.
Yeah.
And you're able to recognize when something is serving you and it wasn't, when something isn't serving you.
Yeah, exactly.
Flora, you have this look on your face. It's interesting.
Gosh, I mean, that's so much wonderful, fabulous content here from these 2 amazing, beautiful women. I mean, it's absolutely true. We have to get to a place of learning to love ourselves first, and it takes a minute to get to the place of giving ourselves permission to love ourselves, right? Especially when we come from backgrounds such as ours, right? And we've had heavy negative programming, especially when it comes with physical violence on top of it, right? Anything that registered that like it gets burned in your brain, it's so hard to rewire those neural pathways and change your life, make new decisions, etc. Little by little, tweak it and shoot a new light from a different angle so that you can see something new, so that you can make a new decision for yourself. And then I think really the best place to be in life is at the place where we can stretch the hand and go, okay, let me help you out. I've been there.
Yeah,
I know what it feels like.
I think everybody has a story, and everybody's living their own movie, and you don't realize what's going on in that person's head. And so sometimes, I mean, I have a degree in psychology, so I try to use that too, like when I look at people, because again, you know, everybody, there's a reason why people do certain things, but you can also break out of those habits too. I don't know where my, you know, I had like insecurities. Like I came from a great family, a very loving family, but I still had insecurities. I think it came from other kids picking on me. So I always didn't feel like good enough, that I didn't fit in. But you know, later as I grew older and I went through some of these experiences, like, I don't know, just something when that abuse happened with my ex-husband, something clicked in me and I changed. I got a lot stronger. Instead of becoming a victim.
All three of you want to be an inspiration to people that may be coming up behind you. And I think that's a great thing. But you definitely, when I first met you, I asked you what you wanted to do. You said you want to be that inspiration to older women. Is what you said.
Well,
True.
I want to be an inspiration to all women. I mean, it's just like age is just a number. I mean, it's just that now. I mean, I just turned 52, which I can't even believe. It's hard for me to say because I look in the mirror and I think I'm 30, or 20. I mean, I just have a young soul, or I don't know. My spirit is just young.
You're still a party girl.
I want to say exactly that, but I mean,
she thinks she's a socialite.
Oh,
she's a party. You grew up in Southern California.
Well, anyway, I guess I just have I have a youthful soul. You know what I mean? And you don't have to fall apart. You know what I mean? We just need to take care of ourselves. Again, it's about learning to love yourself, learning how to diet, learn how to go to the gym instead of using drugs or drinking. I mean, I've done it in the past where I wanted to hide. Was in the past drinking too much to hide pain because I didn't want to feel. So it's the same thing with drugs or alcohol. You don't want to feel. So you have to learn how to deal with those emotions and go through the pain and feel it. And then you know what I mean? And it feels good.
Absolutely. I feel like if you don't, and this is something that I work with my clients a lot, and I found that I got a lot of we just did our first workshop for core resolution systems. We had our first workshop on Sunday, and it went really well. I had a lot of fun doing it, but one of the main sources of feedback that I got was they loved the part about having to know where you are before you know where to take the next step. Like if you're not honest with yourself about what you're really experiencing, like for example, being in an unhealthy relationship. I was in several abusive relationships. I'm disfigured in certain parts of my body because of it as well, right? And so just like with navigation on your phone, you have to type in your current location, your exact current location, or it can't tell you to turn around and make a U-turn, or it can't tell you whether to go left or right because it doesn't know where you're coming from. And so if you don't identify with who you really are, instead of, oh, but he just needs someone to love him, he just needs someone to stick by him, and whatever the thing that happens, it was my fault, no, really identify the fact that you're in a place where you are not okay. But sometimes
right? People bond. I mean, this is basic psychology. You'll bond to trauma. And you'll think it's normal. Absolutely. It's called trauma bonds. And so you go back to those abusive relationships because you think that you can fix it or it's normal when it's not. And that's when you stop and you start really feeling and feeling like this is good for me, this is good. That's when you can walk away from it and get it out.
Exactly, when you can connect to what's really going on, not this illusion that we've created out of habit. Right, not of this reaction that we have to stay or to not run or to not leave because it's just more comfortable. It's uncomfortable to separate yourself from that, like you call it, a trauma bond, right? But
what's interesting too, though, and I'm learning because I'm trying to do some more. I'm taking some clues from you too, and try to be more entrepreneurial this year. But there's our fear that you're gonna fail, so I need to break myself out of that mindset that I can do whatever I want. Yeah.
The only way you'll fail is if you don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a guarantee. That's a guaranteed failure, right there.
Because if you don't try, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying and failing and just getting up and trying again. But if you don't try, you don't know if you can't.
Well, you can't learn. So that's one of the things that over the last couple of years, So when I got out, so you were addressing this in the last show, and I didn't really go there with it, but when I got out, I had this mission. I was going to help people with fitness because I thought if I just help people get into their fitness, they're going to be okay. But that wasn't the case because you can't get them into the gym in the first place. And I may have you for a half hour a day, but who are you being the other 23 and a half hours? And that's what it came down to. And so as a coach, I had to, as a transformation specialist, that's what I've done the last 17 years. I did hair as transformation, right? I loved being able to be
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
right? So I still do hair. It's still my instant gratification.
And makeup, which is good.
Right?
She actually did my makeup. She did a good job, but I never forgot about that.
I do. I love making people feel good in their own skin, and hair is a very quick way for me to do that, and it's a very, very lucrative way for me to do that, and so I still do it because it funds my other adventures. But it's still my own business. I'm still making my own hours. I'm still writing my own checks, you know. And so I had to keep even a beautiful plant when it outgrows its pot. If you don't change the pot, it doesn't matter how beautiful and how much it's grown and how prosperous it is. If you don't change the pot, it's going to die. And I feel like that we have to be willing to stretch into that next step. Like, okay, here I am. I'm a personal trainer. I'm really helping people change their physical bodies, but I'm not helping them change their minds enough for it to matter. Like, they're still coming to the gym because they're mad at themselves or out of resentment or out of judgment for themselves, instead of, I just want to feel good. I want to do it because it gives me energy. I want to do it because it connects me to myself. I want to do it because I know that I'm contributing to my overall health, like my mental well-being, like my emotional well-being is better because I'm going, and I connect to the way that feels. That's wonderful. What about when you get in the car and you're driving home and you're in traffic? Who are you being then?
You know what, though, too? How many fitness people, since we both ran this, are unhealthy?
Yeah.
They're unhealthy. Yep. They're doing unhealthy things to their body. They're going to extremes
for the wrong
reasons.
For a plastic trophy.
Yeah. Because they're not. Because again, they're not. Because really, fitness is about mind and body connection. Yeah. If you don't, I mean, to be healthy, you have to be healthy in your head. Yeah. So these people are physically looking good, but they're so effed up. It's not even funny. Like they scare me.
Worst body dysmorphia I've ever seen was on a fitness competitor. Not an obese girl, not an anorexic girl, a fitness competitor. Because it's like, okay, first of all, like, I'm not willing to go to the extremes that some of the figure girls need to go to in order to have the type of bodies that they have. And I am not dogging anyone's choices. I just don't have it in me to do that. I have a needle problem. Like, I don't want to play with needles ever. And so I've messed around with Anavar, and I mess around with SARMs because I love science and I love experimenting with my body and seeing what I can do. But now I'm doing it for the right reasons because I want to manipulate my body. I'm going to do a competition in June, the wellness division. Yeah. And I don't know it's a brand new division, so no one knows what the expectations are. And I could very well see the girls go up and I could realize, like, maybe that's not my body. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to go have fun.
Why not?
I'm still going to manipulate my body the way that I can learn how to manipulate it the way I have for the last 10 years. But now I'm going to do it on my terms. I'm going to create a body that I love, that I don't give a shit if the judges like it or not. I hope they do, because that'd be wonderful, because I'd love to be an inspiration on the stage and be able to use that as a platform. But it's still just me bringing my best self to the table. Whereas before, I was a zebra trying to compare myself to a giraffe. And I was never going to be a giraffe. And I wasn't willing to do what I needed to do to be a giraffe. And so I had to learn how to become a zebra and love that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
When you were growing up in Brazil, where was your mindset and what inspired you to get to that next level before you came to the U.S.?
Oh my gosh.
Because it's not easy coming from another country.
It's not. I did everything that I could for those around me, for my family, mainly, right? I grew up middle class, but not upper middle class. You know, I'm from a family of divorced parents. My dad left when I was 1. Mom was the sole provider, and she wasn't well remunerated, compensated financially for her job in politics and corruption, etc., etc. You know, that changed thankfully, and she's in a much better place for being an attorney, for crying out loud, right? Because there was so much lack. There was lack of presence. There was, there was lack of empowerment. There was lack of support. There was lack of a bunch of fundamental things. I did rely on the things that were there, which were we breathed, ate, and slept on grit. We had to, otherwise we wouldn't have made it, right? Considering also that Brazil is a class society, scaled on color. So the darker you are, the lower you are, right? And it's like the crawling process is really grabbing a wall with your nails and crawling up to figure out where you're gonna be, where you're gonna end. But for me, the thing is that it was such heavy, intense psychological pressure to be there and to provide and to make sure that everybody was okay and navigating everything.
You grew up
and also
before you had to grow up.
I did. I make this joke that I turned 30 when I was 3. Really.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went through a phase, for instance, of co-providing for my family, helping one time helping my brother
You were the sole
figure things
provider.
out, and then helping my sister figure things out, then co-providing and helping my mom and helping everybody emotionally and whatnot. But so the straw, I guess, the straw was really, I got to the point that, okay, I was about to finish college. I had already thrived in a career, as my first career as a Spanish teacher and translator. I started very young. I started before I finished high school. But really, it was like I felt lost. I felt like I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I was, and romance showed up in my life, and the stars aligned. And he was leaving to the U.S., and I was like, let me figure out what I want to do first, because I wouldn't leave the country without my degree. I have a degree in Spanish. Then I gave it some time to figure out and see where the relationship was gonna go, and then I was like, I need to understand what I want first, because I'm very young and I'm fresh out of college. The career was not thriving at that point anymore because of market collapse in Argentina at the time. This was 2003. So I knew it was that soul call. My soul was screaming for me to get out of there, and it had been asking me to get out of there for at least 3-4 years. And I was like, I don't know how. I know I need to, but I don't know how.
Time to
and
change
then
pots.
boom.
Yeah.
Exactly. Time to change pots. Exactly.
Gotta upgrade the
Exactly.
pots, yeah.
And there I went. My goodness, it was my very first time boarding a plane in my life, and I was leaving everything behind.
Yeah.
It was neat. It really was neat. And it was like the most wonderful thing I've done, because here I found myself. I was lost there because I was living for everybody. And then little by little, I learned to change that wiring and see me and look at me. Gosh, it's taken forever, to look at everything, to see everything, to accept everything, to acknowledge everything, to be cool with everything. The both sides, the light side and the dark side. And why not? When you
People
girls
don't
were
understand
talking,
that there is two shades of, we want to call it black. That there's lighter skin and there's darker skin, and there's discrimination there, and people don't understand that.
That's true. That is very true. Well, here, I come from a world where if you have melanin, you're screwed no matter what. Right? If you show any of it, you're screwed no matter what. But I had someone recently, actually a lady from Brazil as well, have the audacity to say to me, like, in challenging me because I speak of myself as black. Hello? Right? Even though it's, okay, 14% Nigerian. I've done my DNA test and figure all that out, right? I'm more European in my blood than I am African descent. But what is that shows more, right? So what is that I'm associated more with? And this lady has the audacity to say to me, there are darker people than you. What are you doing calling yourself black? I'm like, excuse me?
Oh, is she?
That's pretty interesting.
Right?
Especially in a society right now that's letting anybody call themselves whatever they want.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
You could be a
The
tree.
least you can do is be actually what you are.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but yeah, you are. There is that discrimination, and there is, even within. And this is something that I'm learning still to this day among African Americans, which to me is fascinating. Right, I'm from a different culture, for crying out loud. Right. We speak different languages. We have different values, etc. But here, I notice how that speaks very loudly as well. If you're lighter, you're gonna be treated a little more favorable than if you're darker. And I'm like, stop! It's like it's nails on a chalkboard. It's like, stop! Quit that conversation. Who do you think you're helping? Who do you think you're lifting? And why do you need to kick your fellow sister? Why? What's the reason for that? So when you girls were talking, what I had in my mind was this question. Where's the line, and what defines a person training hard and going to the gym, etc., altering their body to the point that, which you described? Where does self-love and trying to keep up with the Joneses collide? And what defines that? And what makes people make decisions towards one direction or another?
Well, if you're literally asking, then I would say for me, that line got super blurred, especially as an addict, right? And with me, one, feeling the need to prove myself because of my past, right? Two, and so like any platform I can try and prove myself on, all of a sudden we grasp at straws. I'm an only child, always trying to prove myself, always trying to be liked, always trying to be whatever you need me to be, right? That like weird background codependent always, right? So I'm a recovering codependent for sure. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. And those two combined are a messy, messy game. Because all of a sudden, you know, when I started into fitness, it was because I was trying to be okay in my own skin. The last show we talked about this. I was fresh out of prison, fresh into rehab, with in a house with 60 women and 11 children, and I'm an only child who's trying to get clean, or stay clean, and be well, get well. I'm trying to get well, right? And I'm on all this medication, and so I start weaning myself off this medication, and I'm coming out of my skin, and I got on the treadmill, this old treadmill in this rec room, as a means of survival because I was not okay. Like I needed to move and I was trapped. And so fitness became a way of life for me and non-negotiable for me because of my mental wellness. Because I needed that natural increase in serotonin and dopamine, because I needed the neural pathways to start reconnecting quickly, because I was coming off the meds and all of a sudden I was feeling these things and all these, experiencing all these things that I had been numbing for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And so when it came to like coping with life and living life on life's terms and feeling the feelings and emotional regulating, I had no idea what to do. And so I had to move my body, and I had to just engage my lymphatic system, and I had to learn how to stretch my nervous system in a way that would help me to calm myself and learn how to breathe and learn how to connect to self. And then I was introduced to competing. And all of a sudden, it wasn't about that anymore. All of a sudden, I was chasing something that was not me. My body was a result of healthy, and then all of a sudden, it was a result of obsession, and it was a result of I have to get to the gym, and it wasn't there. I wasn't going because I wanted to anymore. I was going because I had to, and because I had a show coming up, and I couldn't eat this food because you know what I mean? And
I remember that.
so I went through the gamut, and so that's why I actually stopped competing. I stopped going to the gym for a year, and I actually went back to school, and that's when I got my health coach. I spent 6 months in a program getting my ICF certified health coaching certification. I then got my life coaching certification. Then I got mastery coach certification in transformational coaching method and neurolinguistic programming. And so now that's my area of study. And I also went back to school and I've been studying functional nutrition. And so there's not a whole lot I can really do with that because I don't have my license in nutrition, but I can collaborate with functional medicine doctors and work through that field around mental health with functional medicine doctors and other wellness professionals that are geared towards finding that balance as a whole, like whole body, whole health recovery, right? And that's what we focus on at CRS, at Core Resolution Systems, is that whole health recovery, because now I can go to a competition and do a competition because my body naturally is bigger on the bottom, right? But I'm more lean than the bikini girls. And so now that there's a division that fits my body frame, where when I go to the gym and I just do my best at the gym, like it's gonna fit that, I love that, right? And so now I'm like, okay, well, we'll do this. But regardless of what the judges say, like, I need to make sure that I'm bringing to the table something that I'm proud of, something that I love, something that fits me, regardless of what everyone else is bringing to the table.
So doing you and making sure that you're being happy with yourself has paid off more than keeping up with the Joneses.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, see, I've always
For the
been
right reason.
Yeah, the right reason.
Exactly.
You need to know your why. I think you need to be really anchored to your why and have a good understanding. The last show, really quick, sorry, Terry.
It's okay.
Just to wrap up, like, I really wanted to say this last show because he said something very similar, was, you know, I truly believe that everyone has the best of intentions, even child traffickers, right? There is a survival and money and doing what they've been trained to do. They've been brought up in that mess, right? A lot of them, like a lot of things that and I know that's a really rough comparison, but point being, I believe
survival.
Even drug addicts, people who beat their children, like whatever it is, like all these people have the best of intentions, but their methods are really fucked up. You know, I think that we can have the best of intentions, but the method be really messed up. Like, I had the best of intentions competing, but the method I was going about it, beating myself up and judging myself and critiquing myself, like messed up method. So let me best of intentions, let me switch the method, right? And that I can apply. I was trying to really engage the spectrum there, stretch it, but best of intentions. Sometimes we just have really bad methods.
I mean, okay, coming from somebody, because my degree I have a bachelor's of science degree in psychology. That's what I wanted to call. That's what I did in school, and I actually worked for the Meadows. I did marketing for them, so I worked with addiction medicine gurus for 6 years. So I know a lot about trauma bonds. I know a lot about addiction, and what I've always been an athlete. I swam in high school. I was a cheerleader. I've always been at the gym, and I'm kind of like I handle my stress by working out. So when I found competing, I fell in love with it. But I did kind of get to that point where I was, picking on myself and like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym, and we're becoming unhealthy. I think that's why I haven't competed in the last 3 years, and now I'm like doing it for the right reasons. So it's kind of weird because I've always been to keep my stress level down and keep my serotonin levels up, and then I started competing and I got in that fucked up world. Sorry, but it is. And I just lost my train of thought. What I was going to say is that a lot of competitors I see, they have addictive personalities, and they take, let's say they were drinking or they were doing drugs, they were overeating is a good one, so then they take that addiction into fitness. And it's a vicious cycle because, again, they're not healthy in the head, if that makes any sense. And I saw that, and I think it's just because of my knowledge, I was able to kind of pinpoint it and pull myself out of it.
Absolutely.
All right. Last go around. Give your website and what you hope to inspire in the future coming up.
CoreResolutionSystems.com. You can set up an appointment with me there. And then I have social media is Jen Henry Life Coach and Fit Mind Body and Spirit on Instagram. And yeah, just super excited about 2020. That's all.
Terry?
Terri Marie McAdams, and my new website is terrimarieofficial.com, and then my Instagram is Terri Marie Nonstop.
Give it a quick synopsis on that Sport and Mix.
And then we are going to Super Bowl this year to do Sport and Mix interviews again at Lee Steinberg's party, and I'm very excited.
And give it what Sport and Mix is for those people.
Sport and Mix. Okay, it is a new social media app for the world of sports. So it doesn't matter what kind of sports you are, if you're a fitness coach, if you're a high school football player, if you're a pro athlete, for this world to connect.
It's like the LinkedIn and
Facebook, exactly, yes.
Flora?
FloraSofia.com, model, actor, for bookings. You can book me through my agencies. Brand Talent for LA, and Shaman Freighters for San Diego. Whoever wants to pick me up for the East Coast, I am here, available and ready to go. And what I am looking forward to accomplishing here in the near future is filmmaking and shining a new light on PTSD based on childhood abuse and domestic violence.
That's a good one. All right, I'm Brian Sebastian. Movie Reviews and More. You can find us on YouTube.com, Movie Reviews and More, and iTube 247, and WomenOnTV.tv. That's it for us. We will see you. We'll see you in February after we come back from Miami and everything else, and also NAMM coming up. So we will see you. Please tune in and go and check out their websites. We'll see you next week.